United States Boxing Association Championship Heavyweight. Introducing first, in the blue corner, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania originally, now fighting out of Newport Beach, California. He has a professional record of 27 wins, 7 defeats, 18 by KO. He weighed in at 225 pounds. He is the 1984 Super Heavyweight Gold Medalist. Let's hear it for Tyrell Big. And his opponent, fighting out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He has a professional record to his credit of 12 wins, no defeats, 3 by KOs. He weighed in at 222 pounds. He is the son of one of the finest heavyweights to campaign in the heavyweight division. Let's welcome Buster Mathis, Jr.
As you take a look at the numbers on these two fighters, you can see that Tyrell Biggs has been in the ring 10 years longer than that of Buster Mathis. Also enjoys that reach and height advantage, and also will take a 3-pound weight advantage into the ring. The rules that will govern this USBA fight today: 10-point must system, no standing 8, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved with a bell except in the last round, and only the referee, which will be Mr. Toby Gibson, can stop this fight tonight here in Las Vegas. Well, we've been waiting for our main event here, Bob Spagnola. Yours truly, Sam Smith, at ringside on our heavyweight explosion, brought to you by Corona Extra. And here it is, as Tyrell Biggs goes up against Buster Mathis Jr. And you can see a little anxiety on the face of both of these fighters right now, Bob.
Well, I'll tell you something, Sam. If you stood the two of these guys next to each other and had to have somebody that didn't know anything about boxing decide which one of them was going to be the winner, that I don't think it'd take them too long to decide. But there's a little bit more to it than that. Buster's complaining about holding all over.
So Toby Gibson just trying to get things squared away here in a hurry. You see the light blue trunks there of Buster Mathis Jr. And of course the white with a black stripe there from Tyrell Biggs. And again, some brawling style inside. Mathis, you can see this is what he wants to try to do, is just to challenge Biggs all day long.
I mean, Tyrell, he started to pull the trigger on a jab, but you know, he's got to work from the outside. I don't think he wants to, stay inside and exchange uppercuts and short punches on the inside with Tyrell Biggs. With Buster Mathis Jr., I think he wants to fight him on the outside, and anything less than that's going to favor Buster. There's that jab of Tyrell Biggs.
By the way, Brian Lee is working in the corner with Buster Mathis Jr. tonight. Buster Mathis Sr., his normal trainer, trains him in his hometown of Grand Rapids, but is not on the road with him. We hope that Buster's feeling much, much better. He's had kind of some up and down health problems, and I know that he's viewing our fight back in Grand Rapids, and we wish you the very best of all there is. Mr. Mathis, you thrilled us all in the 60s and 70s. Right now, Buster, he is a busy, busy man today.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on early in the first round. We got warnings from the referee already, but Buster wants this to be a roughhouse fight. He's got to be able to fight on the inside here, and Tyrell started to get that jab off there. This outside, the distance between the two of them is what Biggs wants to work from that vantage point.
By the way, if Buster does as well here as he did on the buffet line, even though he weighs only 222, he weighed as much as 305 at one time in his career. He was manhandling that buffet the last couple of days, so getting some power inside against Tyrell Biggs. And so far in the first round, Biggs has done more pleading and complaining than he does fighting here in the first round, I think.
There's that jab of Tyrell Biggs.
Buster again trying to get inside. Biggs holding him. Mathis holding the other way. Toby Gibson's not going to have a tough night going to sleep tonight after refereeing this fight. You can tell early. There's that left jab. It is a striking one.
And he throws more of an up jab from a low angle there. He's coming up there, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Tyrell's
There's the left hook off the left hand, and Biggs trying to get some punching room.
This is what Tyrell Biggs did in that tournament down in Mississippi. He was fighting guys. He was getting in there, his left hook off that jab. When a guy's got a good left jab, people, they have a tendency to hold their hand in the middle of their defense to take it away, and you can sure take advantage with the left hook from it, and that's what Biggs has done. He's turning that jab into a hook.
Well, this may not not be a place for the faint of heart tonight on our worldwide network, because these guys have come out throwing the leather and the bombs early. Buster Mathis Jr. in one corner. You see him working on him on the other side, and this is Tyrell Biggs in his corner.
Just be focused. Take
That's
your
Jerry
time,
Page, by the way.
What's up? When you went there, let the referee call. Go ahead. Let the referee call. Okay, you do the fight. You let the referee the fight. That was a good shot.
Page is explaining to Tyrell that when he hit him a little low there, and Buster complained. He said, you should have stayed right on. You let the referee call it, don't you? Which is excellent advice. Really developing into a heck of a young corner, man.
Drop yours.
Just don't forget Brian Lee inside and Bruce Kelty on the outside with Buster Mathis Jr. here in Las Vegas as we're ready for round number 2. This is our main event for the USBA Heavyweight Championship, the vacant title. Mike Hunter had the title stripped after he beat Buster Mathis in 12 rounds down in Corpus Christi on one of our earlier heavyweight explosions. So they've let Buster Mathis have another shot at it, and now Tyrell Biggs getting his shot at the title as well. Round number 1, Biggs very active with the big punch. Certainly none more active than Mathis, but the big punches belong to Biggs. How'd you score it, Bob?
I give it 10 round to Tyrell based on a real good left uppercut that left hook that he landed and establishing his jab. Well, Buster knows what he wants to do. Buster only fights one style. He's got to impose his will. He's got to get in there and smother this guy. And even if he's not successful real early, he's setting it up for later. There's another good counter shot by Tyrell Biggs, catching Buster on his way in and then grabbing him and walking him around.
Biggs still kind of pawing at his nose right now as he got clocked with a pretty good right hand a few moments ago. By the way, Buster Mathis about a quarter of the number of amateur fights that Biggs enjoyed. 108-6 for Biggs, including that Olympic gold medal in '84. A 20-5 record with 5 Michigan Golden Glove Championship for Mathis, who clubs his way inside again.
Punches being landed by both fighters here. Excellent exchange here early in the second round.
Biggs, you can see, literally just having to shove Mathis off of him here. Mathis right back in on top of his chest. You made mention that Biggs fought in that winner-take-all. He lost in the championship to Tony Tubbs, the former WBA champion, in that final of the winner-take-all down in Mississippi in December. Felt like he had some rib problems in that one. I'm not sure that they're still not bothering him in getting ready for this fight, Bob.
Well, he said that he was ready to go, and fighters never do complain at the weigh-in. You never hear about anything till after the fight, which is, they don't want to give anything away to their opponent.
Mathis again with some clubbing shots, but again making contact with Biggs.
Tyrell's trying to find out how Toby Gibson's going to work this fight, if he's going to break these guys or he's going to let them work on the inside. Both fighters taking their heads out on both sides and jockeying for position right here.
Closing seconds of the second round. Posture has been just about the same throughout the entire fight. The leaning of 222 pounds of Mathis on that of the 225 Tyrell Biggs. A statuesque 6'5", 225 Tyrell Biggs. He's fought for the world title against Tyson, but went down to Tyson's big blows. And they battled to the end of round 2. Corona Extra bringing you our heavyweight explosion from the Aladdin Hotel here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina. And they'll be around the world bringing you more of our championship boxing, including this one. Let's go into Buster Mathis' corner.
Watch your heads inside. Going behind the jab. And work good in the now.
Buster Mathis was trying to stay as busy in the second round as he was in the first. Bob, was he as effective as what he wanted to do here?
Well, like I said, he might not have that initial success with Tyrell here, but he can only do one thing, and that's continue to do that, wear this guy down. And Tyrell was actually, I thought, did very well early exchanging punches with Buster because he's got good quick hands and a great assortment of punches, but the question is, can he keep it up?
This is round 3 of the USBA heavyweight title fight. And again, Buster Mathis Jr. in the light blue trunks against Tyrell Biggs in the white, and Buster wastes no time getting on top of him. And now Toby Gibson, who had ducked into both corners to tell both the fighters to watch their heads. He's doing it again here as he stopped action for a moment.
But Tyrell's the one holding here a little bit.
10-10 round, Bob, and the last one on your unofficial card?
Yeah, both fighters landed some good, clean punches, and I couldn't really figure out which one of them to give it to that second round. But here, you know, this is where Buster wants to be. If Tyrell chooses to fight him here, I think that's kind of short-sighted. Tyrell might pick his spots, fight from the outside sometimes and from the inside, but this can't benefit Tyrell Biggs here. This close-in work has got to favor Buster Mathis.
There's another punch that came just slightly below the belt buckle. You heard Toby Gibson in the background to make sure and keep those punches up. Buster really didn't want to be a boxer in his early career. He wanted to play baseball or basketball or football, but he literally told us, he said, I wasn't very good in any of those. His dad never pushed him into boxing. Finally, he came to his dad, Buster Mathis Sr., and said, I'd like to learn to box, Dad. And the rest is history. He said, well, if you don't play boxing, you got to come out and work at it. And Buster Jr. has certainly done that.
Bruce Kelty was telling Buster in between rounds, you know, you got to work your way in behind that jab. Don't just walk through this guy with your hands up. Jab your way in and then work. He's slipping the jab at Tyrell Biggs a little bit there. Tyrell fighting with his hands at his side, but he's getting good leverage on his punches from that.
And Mathis is also going a little headhunting, and he's scoring because those gloves are down. So both are doing some damage on each other, as we had anticipated after watching the first 2 rounds.
Neither of these guys is a big puncher, you know, but they both can get the job done, but their quickness and speed is what they rely on. So I don't think that either one of these guys really has the power to get. And both of them have real good beards too. I don't think either one of them has the power to really drop the other one or hurt them seriously. So it's going to be a battle of attrition here today, Sam.
By the way, if Biggs does not get it done in this round, he has had a total of 11 of his 18 knockouts in the first 3 rounds. He's had 18 for his career, so if he doesn't get it done early, you can look for him, of course, as you pointed out, with an accumulation of punches as he lands a big right hand on Mathis. Mathis with only 3 of his wins, 12 total by knockout.
But Tyrell he's settling in and exchanging punches with Buster. It's making for a really entertaining fight here early, Sam. Both guys giving it their all. Nice jab by Biggs, even at short range.
Closing seconds of the 3rd round, and this crowd here at the Aladdin is loving it in Las Vegas. So both fighters giving it their all here through 3 rounds. And again, with Buster Mathis getting a second try. Buster, well, you talk about a disappointed young man. First of all, that he had lost to Mike the Bounty Hunter. And then secondly, that Hunter had tested positive for drugs and was stripped of the title. But very happy just on the other side of the coin to get an opportunity to fight again. Interesting enough, in the last regular fight by both these fighters, Buster Mathis in that title fight in December lost to Mike the Bounty Hunter. And also in the last regulation fight back in January, we took a look at a loss by by Tyrell Biggs, also to Mike Hunter. And he took that fight, did Hunter, on a last-second notice, but he really came in and boxed him well.
Yeah, well, Mike the Bounty Hunter does stuff like that to people.
Let's go.
He's a dichotomy in the heavyweight division.
Seconds out, and here we go to round number 4. Mathis again, staying busy. On our unofficial cards, we gave him the 3rd round to Mathis as he battled inside on Tyrell Biggs. And it's going to be one of those ebbs and flows type fights here today. They're scheduled for 12.
There's, Biggs punching when he's got range. When he's got the distance to punch, he's punching nice on the way in here in this first round. He hasn't done that. He can't wait to let Buster work his way in and try to outfight him on the inside. He's got to pick his shots on Mathis's way in and then hold him and wait for Toby Gibson to break him. Nice jab by there. That's what Tyrell Biggs wants to do, and that's what Buster wants to do. He answers back with 3. Gets hit with 2 coming in and comes back with 3.
You know, coming out of the Olympic Games in 1984 as the super heavyweight champion, Tyrell Biggs, he was called the best young heavy or maybe a future champion. Never really materialized that. Early wins, however, over Mike Evans in his debut on that night of gold. He beat Eddie Richardson, James Quick Tillis, Ronaldo Snipes, David Bay, despite getting a cut that took 32 stitches to close, and he was on his way. Had a chance for a world title, but Mike Tyson stopped him in 7. He was also defeated in 7 by Gary Mason, Reddick Bowe in 8, and Lennox Lewis in 3. Certainly before Bowe and Lewis won the world title, but in a world championship fight against Mike Tyson, he went 7, but finally ran into Iron Mike and went down.
You see Tyrell taking his head out on either side of Buster. He doesn't want to set any pattern to where he's leaving that, so Buster can attack that side. He's working it. But their heads are clashing together there as he brings that from side to side. Big starts the rounds very well and then settles into letting Mathis smother him and get his punches off here.
Mathis again getting a little more leverage on those hooks, both left and right, and he's going upstairs to score. As again, Biggs continually comes with those hands at his waist, as you see here. It's almost to the point that Biggs is saying, hey, my ribs still do hurt. I want to keep my arms down and not let him get any body shots in on me.
Well, and also, you know, he gets better leverage with his hands down lower there to dig those uppercuts and those and those chopping right hands that he's working on Buster with. I think Toby's going to have an adjustment on the tape here.
You know, Bob, it's interesting. I know I've asked you this before on some of our fights around the world. There was a conversation about boxing, maybe putting a scoreboard up to see how the fighters are doing on the scorecards, and everybody said, well, that's a good idea and it's a bad idea. But when you get a fight like this, it kind of ebbs and flows. It probably would add a little bit more excitement to the fight, I think, if you need it anymore.
I think it's a good idea, but, you know, the only thing that scares me about it is security problems it might cause in different parts of the world. Not so much our country, but some other places we've been. Although we certainly have some neighborhoods in our country where it could be dangerous. Their Biggs' leg went out. There's kind of a short apron on this ring here, and it almost joined us here in our booth.
Mathis again, you see that good clubbing left hand that he's continuing to throw that hook with. Closing seconds of another action-packed 4th round here.
Buster trying to work in there with a jab hook, good left hook to the body.
Good look at Tyrell Biggs. He comes to his stool. Let's dive in there, he along with Jerry Page, and see if there's any problems for Tyrell Biggs here.
Stick your legs out
Get
there.
your hands up too, okay? Get your hands up.
You do something for me one time. Just beat this round so convincingly we won't have to tell you nothing. Can you do that? Forget every script for this
Might need a little more tape on that.
Well, Tyrell Biggs has not won the last couple of rounds here, as Buster Mathis has been able to do most of it, and there's that big left hook again.
Sweeping left hook, didn't really have much on it. He hit him with the inside of the glove, but it scored and the crowd loved it.
Buster Mathis, you can see the intensity on his face.
Buster's in the flow of the fight, and Jerry.
Both fighters come off their stool to get ready. This is the heavyweight explosion coming to you from the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is round 5 of our scheduled 12-rounder. In the light blue trunks, that's Buster Mathis Jr., Tyrell Biggs in the white. And they have battled pretty much tooth and nail throughout the first opening 4 rounds of this fight.
Jerry Page did an excellent job in the corner, but he said 2 things to Tyrell Biggs, one of which is, what's wrong with the jab? You got to use your jab when you're on the outside there. And the other one is, keep your hands up, son. Don't, you know, leave them down there. And, you know, Tyrell's laying in there, and
Right hand.
Nice right hand by Buster Mathis Jr. Right on the jaw, Tyrell Biggs, and a sweeping left hook across his nose. Tyrell's holding now and not fighting enough.
You know, Tyrell, I think, is very cognizant, Bob, of the head of Buster Mathis right on his chest, and the fact that he is the shorter of the 2 fighters, Mathis, and when he gets his head right on his chest, Biggs is having to kind of throw his head back out of the way to keep maybe from getting a clash of heads inside.
Now he's getting that jab off. That's what he's got to do. He's got to jab. He can't just let Buster walk right to him. Jab and then a nice right uppercut.
Stop punching.
But Buster gets by that, and then he does his work. And he's consistent about what he's doing. There he hits Tyrell again with a right overhand right over the top.
in the style of Buster Mathis? Is there a way he's brawling in there? Is a way he can straighten out that left and the right hand, Bob? They're kind of clever right now.
Well, you know, I mean, he's satisfied with the fact that they're landing. You know, they might not be picture book or like you map them out in the textbook, but just like those body shots kind of came to the outside, but he's the one doing the work. I think Toby's being a little rough on him there about that.
He's also having a little trouble with his trunks. They're slipping down occasionally on him. He saw him go back between the rounds a moment ago, kind of tugging at him to get him up again.
Tyrell, he doesn't seem to be focused. He's in the clinches. He's looking around at something. I don't know what he's looking for. He doesn't seem to be looking to Jerry in the corner. He's looking out into the crowd. He's got his hands down at his side, and he's just letting Mathis get inside on him.
Right hand again by Buster Mathis Jr. scoring on Tyrell Biggs. Biggs trying to counter with a combination. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, a beautiful combination. And then he uses the left to hold Mathis off with the forearm a little bit afterwards. That's what he's got to do. Box from the outside. Even if he keeps his hands down. Box from the outside. Use some face like he's doing right now. This is what Tyrell wants to do. And now we're going to see what Buster wants to do. Work in there. See, Biggs held him a little bit there. He got broke by the referee and didn't get hit.
Toby Gibson just as nervous and anxious as both the fighters were before stepping into the ring. He knows, even though it's not a world title, it's certainly the USBA championship, and every belt, every title, very important to the fighters. And the third man in the ring, Toby Gibson, who's doing a good job for us here today in Las Vegas.
You know, Biggs, when he wants to, he looks beautiful out there.
Toby Gibson with a couple of words to Tyrell Biggs before he let him go into his corner. So he has been rather schooling both of these fighters. You see him a little early shower, and that is not the warmest of water, by the way. They just doused over his head to get his attention. Again, let's look at Buster Mathis' work.
Buster working his way in with the jab, hits him with the overhand right. Coming to him again, works his way in with the jab. I think it's a replay of the same one. Hits him with the right now because the left hook came after. Yep. Nice combination by Buster Mathis Jr.
Boy, nice job by our replay people out in our truck. Let's take a look again. There's Buster again. He just kind of attacks and throws that good right hand.
Right, and Bruce and Brian are telling him in the corner, behind the jab, come in behind the jab, and that's just what we've seen on those replays.
And Shoemaker, our producer today, Skip Hill, our director, and all the great crew with us in Vegas. Glad you could join us today. Bell sounds, and we're in round number 6 of a 12-rounder. Oh, a quick left hook by Biggs. Caught Buster Mathis walking in and with his head down. Now you see that good crisp jab again, as Bob pointed up. It's kind of what is called the up jab. Caught Mathis with a pretty good right hand on the inside. May have been a tad low.
Here we see, you know, Tyrell starts out with some movement. He starts these rounds well. They want him to get that jab off.
Bob, judges vary all over the world, I realize, but is a more active fighter a guy that may not be throwing the bigger punches? Certainly Mathis is getting some in. Is that what the judges are looking for? Are they looking for a more defensive-minded? I guess it varies around the world, doesn't it?
It really does around the world and around the ring. You know, different judges look for different things and like different things. Just like certain referees let guys fight on the inside, and certain referees break them all the time. And Toby Gibson calling a timeout here.
Now they're going to get the right glove of Buster Mathis all squared away. Buster again coming into Las Vegas, very workmanlike. He, along with Brian Lee, you see him outside the ropes, all very congenial. Very happy to spend any and as much time as we need in talking about any of their fighters or about the fight themselves. Sometimes we get such short time with many of the fighters. They're kind of more anxious to get somewhere else, but they're always happy to spend some time. We appreciate that. And Tyrell was very good this time, please.
Oh, Tyrell, you know, being in the Olympics and all the attention you get as a super heavyweight, he was a world amateur champion leading up to the Olympics, so he's got a major in communications from all the interviews he's done, and he's a gentleman. He just wanted, you know, he seemed like he really was concentrating on this fight. Leading up to it.
Tyrell lives in Columbus, Ohio now, and trains out in Newport Beach, California. And now a timeout's going to be called. They're going to take 1 point away here. So there's going to be a 1 point away I assume that was for low blows, so 1 point deduction, and boy, could that be a big point later on in this fight. Again, for a low blow, 2 warnings, and now the deduction of the point by Toby Gibson.
This is a big round. Tyrell could turn this round right into putting him right back in this fight with a 2-point round if he can win this.
Mathis again slinging that left hand, may have got a little low again. By the way, if you're wondering, Tyrell Biggs at 6'5" and 225 was a star high school basketball player before he decided to turn to boxing, and he did at the age of 18. And now he's in there with a guy that wanted to play basketball but literally couldn't. Boy, he can box, and that's Buster Mathis Jr.
Tyrell's got his head up high like that. He's got to tuck it down and pick those hands up a little bit. Something just came off the gloves over there. I think it was some of that extra tape. But both guys giving and taking real well here.
Buster Mathis came into this fight knowing he had to fight off the chest of the taller and the better reach of Tyrell Biggs. Toby Gibson kicking that piece of tape that had come off out of the ring as we come to the end of round 6, but a point deduction to Buster Mathis Jr. The big question that will surround round number 6, and let me put a big circle around that 6th round, is exactly what happened in the round. Did Tyrell Biggs box well enough to win it by possibility of 2 points or 1 point?
Okay? I want you to win this round, the best round you ever had in boxing, okay? I want you to win this round.
This is the opening part of the round, and boom, boy, is that a nice left hook he landed there. Biggs caught Mathis just walking to him. Let's see if the punch got inside, and apparently Toby Gibson had seated up and takes the 1 point away here.
And use your jab going through.
The point here, let's continue to tell him to use his jab on his
I'm rubbing
way
it
in.
down for you.
Okay?
The point here is that Tyrell Big will Buster having that point taken away from him, stop him from working that body. We got to see if he's going to stay down on that, just try to pick him up a little bit, or will it get him out of his game plan?
This is round 7 of the scheduled 12-round USBA Heavyweight Championship fight. Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola here on the Cedric Kushner Sports Network as Corona Extra brings you our heavyweight explosion today from Vegas in the Aladdin Hotel. Tyrell Biggs.
Look at Biggs, what he can do from the outside here. I mean, he looks beautiful. He looks sensational. He's bouncing. He's hitting Buster with a couple of power jabs right up the pipe, and then he steps around. But, you know, this is the first 30 seconds of every round has been like that, and then he allows Buster to get inside and do his thing. This is what he's got to do. I don't know if it's conditioning level or he just gets lulled into this wrestling and infighting with Buster Mathis Jr., but Tyrell has definitely got it in him to do this here. He's just got to do it.
Bob Spagnola, of course, around the world watching boxers, the manager of world champion Orlando Canizales. How'd you score that last round with that 1 point deduction, Bob?
I had the round 10-10 even because you know, Big started well, and but after the point, Buster seemed to come on very well. I ended up scoring it even, which ended up giving Tyrell the benefit of 1 round. The point that was deducted.
So on our cards, it did not end up being that 2 point swing that we thought it might be at one time. That tape coming loose on the right glove of Tyrell Biggs. Toby Gibson may be ready to stop it here again, get that tape squared away. That's for the safety of Tyrell Biggs as much as it is for his opponent as well, with that tape flopping loose could get in the eye, and now he does stop the action here. Sends Mathis to a neutral corner, and here comes Tyrell Biggs over for another tape job. What does this do for a fighter one way or the other? Certainly if a fighter's had big advantage and then all of a sudden they stop it lets the other guy a little off the hook.
Right.
Not much of an advantage here for either one, right?
If Biggs can start again like he does starts every round and go for a good 45 seconds or a minute, you know, like he is, then this could end up being his round, and the benefit of that break could help him.
So a little jump start by Biggs, getting the tape on his right glove repaired again.
But where's the jab? You know, where's the range? He's laying in there with Buster Mathis Jr., and that's Buster's spot.
Well, he was on his toes. He was bouncing away. As you said, he was jabbing. Now he's electing to brawl and rumble.
A lot of times, I think in this fight, you know, Buster can't hurt Tyrell and hasn't hurt him. And, you know, I think Tyrell feels that, yeah, I can lay in here and fight this guy. I can exchange punches with him, but that's just not his thing. And he doesn't look good doing it. He looks good boxing from the outside. I mean, this guy looks as close to a young Ali when he's sitting on the outside, you know, floating with that incredible balance and that athleticism that Tyrell Biggs has. But this isn't his spot.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I saw him bouncing and stinging and moving away, I said, you know, that looks like another guy I've seen somewhere along the way. Indeed it did. Had a little resemblance of Muhammad Ali style, kind of stick and like the butterfly.
I mean, Tyrell is, as always, you know, people saw that in him, you know, from the point where he beat Francesco Damiani, right after Damiani beat Teofilo Stevenson. It was like the changing of the guard. This is the new guy on the scene. You know, but his career, he started out with the Duvas, who, you know, are some of the best in the business at developing a young fighter, and it's all evolved from there, kind of on the negative side.
Boy, Tyrell Biggs still tugging at those trunks. They continue to start sliding along these. A little concerned with those trunks right now.
Settle down, okay? This is only 3 minutes, T. You're doing all right,
Wrap it around a couple of times.
T. Release him, you're doing all right. Now concentrate on more on them finishing punches, okay?
Go around a couple of times.
Okay? Get your win.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Let's switch over to Mathis's corner quickly.
Good.
Look at
Good.
Let's take a look at some of the action in the end of round number 7 here. And as there you see him again looking down at those trunks, and he got nailed a couple of times. Boom. That's a pretty good right hand. Seconds are out. We're heading for the 8th round. They've settled nothing so far. Championship fight is set for 12. Again, both these fighters, certainly in Mathis's case, not known for his knockout ability. And after you get deep into the fight, it's not really where Biggs likes to go. He's had a majority of his 18 knockouts in the first 3 rounds. Now in round number 8, it's just a battle of both of them being able to be conditioned enough to go the 12 rounds. And you don't have to worry about Buster Mathis. He certainly is. The question is, which one of the Tyrell Biggs showed up today? A real good one can be dynamite. One that comes in and fights a little and then doesn't fight, that's the one that his corner doesn't want to see today.
Buster tried that Mike Tyson, that right hook to the body, right uppercut combination. Didn't quite work for him though, but he's working it. Tyrell is being real economical early in this round with his punches, and didn't even start well like he has been in the last few rounds. But you know, you start well, the guy that finishes well, that's the last thing that the officials see, and many a round has been won in the last 15 seconds.
Yep. The old adage of stealing a few rounds, and I imagine there's been a few million of those down around the world.
Even Tyrell's corner's telling him, hey, you're waiting, son, you're waiting, get in there now, you know, punch, get that range and punch. Jerry Page has been telling him, you got to get your range.
You know, Buster Mathis, a very intelligent fighter and a student of the game, watches a lot of tapes of not only his own fights, but old fights, and was thrilled when he got to see some of the films of his dad's old fights. He's also a graduate student of Grand Rapids Community College and is a junior at Grand Valley State, and he's studying computer science. So he's a very intelligent young man, despite the fact he is in the boxing ring. A lot of people say, well, they're not supposed to be that way. Well, this one certainly is.
Yeah, and a gentleman on top of that.
Absolutely.
As is Tyrell Biggs, you know, look, he's got this new lease. He's got, a Scott Schiff, an attorney that's handling his business now, and a lifelong friend, Jerry Page, working his corner. A lot of things have been put together here for him, but now he's working pretty good on the inside. But that's not his fight.
Go to the corners for tape. Let's go.
So tape on both gloves. And you know, Bob, we've been talking about on all of our world championship fights of coming up with some kind of waterproof tape. We've got to work on that, because this happens too many times.
Get down. One guy up there.
No, this is just repeats itself day in and day out in the fight game, and you think somebody could, I mean, I'd love to have the patent on the stuff, but I wouldn't want to have to be the guy that collects the money for it.
That's true.
That can be tough in this business.
Some people have said that remember the gray duct tape? We've seen that, and I talked to a couple of the officials at several of the commissions, including here in Nevada, and they said the abrasions that tape will cause is the one thing they don't really encourage that to be used here in Nevada.
But they could cover it with one layer of white tape.
That's a good point, yeah.
What they do in the amateurs is they put a wrist sweatband
over the tape
around it, yeah. And that seals it real well. But I guess that could cause a little bit of blood coming from the mouth of Tyrell Biggs there. I noticed when he was after Buster doing. Now here's a little bouncy. I mean, there's that kind of movement. But let's see if he can put it together with something, because Buster's doing just what they're telling him to do. Work in behind that jab.
Well, again, Biggs got that little rest time, so here he is. He should hope for that tape to come loose every time, because he's going to finish out the round in a big way. Buster Mathis may have something to answer back at the end of 8. Well, one of the things that we've always tried to do when we bring you the heavyweight explosion around the world, we hope for the very best. And on paper, we say, boy, we look like we got some great fights. Sometimes, unfortunately, they can come out a little stinky. Well, not today. Tell you what, this title fight has been a good one. You see Tyrell Biggs standing in his corner, and they're working on those pants now.
Maybe there is a problem with that. You know, it's been distracting him and breaking his concentration about every round.
I think it's as much his support as well, the protective cup that he wears, as it is maybe his trunks as well. So he's having some cosmetic problems as well as trying to keep Buster Mathis off the top of it.
Two jabs going in, right hand, left hook. Okay? Then when you get inside, then worry about your double 5s and 6s. But come back up.
Boy, looking into that corner, do you see that bulge right on the top of Buster's nose? He had a little one when he started, but it's really starting to puff up on him. He may have indeed received an injury on the top of the nose. This is round number 9 as Buster Mathis again with a little heavy swelling on the top of the nose comes out to answer the round here in round number 9. And Mathis goes right back to work on Tyrell Biggs.
Tyrell hasn't, you know, in this fight, he's looked good in spurts, but he's not put a solid 3 minutes together. I mean, like I said, Buster hasn't hurt him here. He's gotten his attention a couple of times, and there again it picks up the back of it. Sometimes that's just a nervous trait that a guy has, but he's just not put 3 solid minutes together for himself to get some momentum going in this fight.
Remember the little neighborhood nerd that you never could get rid of? I mean, you had your buddies, you tried to get rid of him, you never would leave. It's exactly what Buster Mathis is. He absolutely will not leave, but Tyrell Biggs is trying to dispatch him here.
He will not go quiet.
He will not. Gotta love the work ethics, once again, of Buster Mathis Jr. He gets it honestly. His dad, one of the best. Fought people like Joe Frazier, George Chuvalo out of Canada, Jerry Quarry, and of course the legendary Muhammad Ali, a contender in the 60s and the 70s. Buster Mathis Sr. He's passed on something to his son Junior, who's fighting well for this USBA heavyweight title.
It really has, and I'll tell you something that his dad had in it. You know, it is oftentimes hereditary, and that's the intangible aspects of this business, and Buster Mathis Jr. has certainly got it. You know, Tyrell's landing some good punches, and his actually, he throws textbook shots when he lands in there, but it's just, the numbers aren't right for him. He's just, the numbers game is not right at all. Buster might not look perfect with his jabs, although there's some good work going on right now by Tyrell Biggs.
Big shot again, blown by Mathis coming off the ropes after Biggs had really kind of set him up well, but never could get the punch he wanted.
Buster's, when Tyrell tries to push him off, Buster's clamping down on that left and pulling him back in close. It's a nice technique that he's using in there, a nice infighting technique. Tyrell's using the Archie Moore in their defensive strategy a little bit, but it's just not where he wants to be. He's a brilliant athlete. This isn't his fight, I don't think, but I mean, he's decided that it's going to be his fight because that's how he's fighting it.
Hundreds of fans back in Grand Rapids, Michigan, enjoying this fight this afternoon, and certainly like to welcome those people as they watch around the world here on the Cedric Kushner Sports Network and Corona Extras Heavyweight Explosion. And boy, they tossing some bombs right now. There's that good left hand that has been just so little used today by Tyrell Biggs.
I mean, he's so smooth with that, so accurate. I don't know why he hasn't stayed out. Maybe it's those wheels of his don't want to carry him around this ring from the outside.
Take a look at Mathis going to his corner. Take a look at that bulge just on the top of his nose. You can see it's getting a little bit more swelling up there, but He'd already had a little bit of a knot there, but again, that's a little extra swelling. He's taking some pretty good shots. They're not putting much ice on it, though, so apparently they're not concerned about it.
It's a reoccurring problem he's had, and you know, when you've got a little nick there, that's just enough friction for your opponent to catch you on.
Don't let him cheat you out of it again.
Buster Mathis again has been able to land the right hand pretty good here on Tyrell Biggs. He got himself in trouble on the ropes and then comes out, and after that left, there came that right hand.
I mean, a wide swooping left hook and then the right hand after it. Nothing pretty about that, but certainly effective.
Crowd has certainly enjoyed this one today. They're scheduled to fight 12 for this USBA heavyweight title. Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola. With his back to you is Tyrell Biggs. Maybe in the twilight of his career at 33. Just in the dawning of a career is 23-year-old Buster Mathis Jr. And as he has done from round one on, he comes out with those clubbing left rights and gets right on the chest of Biggs.
You know, Tyrell had some success early hitting Buster with a nice clean left hook to start these rounds off a couple of times, but Buster's gotten underneath it. Now he's not going to have any more of that.
This is only the second time this Las Vegas crowd, outside of our television coverage, have had a chance to see Buster. He did win here back in February on the heavyweight explosion, defeating Justin Fortune here. Knocked him out of the 8th round. One of the few knockouts that he's been able to enjoy.
He just rained stuff on Justin Fortune, sent him all the way back to Australia.
By the way, Buster's had some good wins. Certainly also a win over Levi Billups as he came up with a 10-round decision. Mike Dixon beat him in 10. And Mark Young, the durable fighter out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a real warrior. He battled 10 and won on that fight as well. So he has won some pretty good fights here in the last 6-8 months.
And gained some very valuable experience. He hasn't had you look at his record. I don't know that he's had any early knockouts, but you know, he's fashioned that record against good, tough competition. I mean, in his professional debut, he fought a guy with 40 pro fights. So that's very valuable experience. And you know, when you go the distance and don't just whack these guys out, you really get the benefit of their experience.
And there comes the tape coming off again as they redo it. By the way, James Wilder was the man that Mathis beat in his first pro fight. That was back in December of '91. The earliest knockout for Buster Mathis was a 4th-round knockout. That came at the hands of Tim Martin back in April of 1992. That was the earliest knockout he'd had.
Tim Martin, who's claimed to fame as a knockout victory over Prislam Saleta, the cruiserweight from Angelo Dundee's cruiserweight that we've seen on the series.
By the way, do I have to say Gesundheit when you say that name? Is that all right? After the tape has been readjusted again for Biggs, did that give him another jump start? Mathis is trying to suck the energy away from him again here. These bodies have been as one tonight.
You know, Buster didn't let, when Toby Gibson took that point away from him and, gave him those warnings for those low blows, he didn't take that out of his arsenal. He continued to do it and be effective with it. He's really seasoned beyond his years, Buster Mathis Jr.
By the way, that happened back in the 6th round and turned out to be only a 1-point round for Tyrell Biggs on our unofficial card, certainly not speaking for the 3 judges that are judging this fight. And we are sometimes right with them, sometimes we're not, but just the way we've seen it. And it was only a 1-point round there, with the round being even on our card, and Tyrell Biggs with a 1-point deduction winning at 10-9. And you see him slugging to the end of round 10 here.
Good strong finish by Biggs here.
There it is, and Toby Gibson just barely getting in there in time. Oh my! Boy, did that get the crowd up on the edge of their seats here. If Cedric Kushner could bring this kind of card every time on the heavyweight explosion around the world, we've had some great crowds, and we've got a good one. Very vocal and very into the fight today.
Ryan, 2 for 3.
Here's Buster working Tyrell at the end of the round, and Tyrell answering back with some good solid shots. A left hook finding its way home. Good exchanges by both men to finish this round.
Well, I tell you what, that's an exchange you're going to see in some feature down the road here on our heavyweight explosion, because for either one of those guys, that was a highlight film.
30 seconds.
Just stay to the fight.
Yeah, let's stay.
Relax.
Just working.
Let him be excited.
Working now.
Well, they seem like they're very pumped up over in Biggs' corner. Let's see if it equates to a good 11th round. Tyrell Biggs comes out on the white, met right at center ring by Buster Mathis Jr. One of these guys will walk out of here with a vacant USBA heavyweight title. A title vacated when Mike the Bounty Hunter tested positive after winning a 12-round decision over Mathis down in Corpus Christi last December.
Biggs has found a home with that nice left hook. Like I say, you're looking at the two of these guys. Tyrell is so textbook with his punches. See him step back. His balance is good. He's starting off real good in this round. But Buster, sometimes it even seems like he's pushing his punches. But it's just the sheer volume of them has been completely the difference in this fight here today in his favor.
Well, Bob, I'm not sure whoever you interview as the winner of this fight after the fight is over is going to be able to say anything. They're going to be pooped.
The difference is that this is the way Buster fights every time.
Yeah. Exactly right.
When you set a pace of a fight, you can go 30, 40 rounds. When the other guy's setting it, that's when your heart rate starts getting up and you got to get your second wind and everything.
By the way, I think we did look in the boxing dictionary, and by the word busy was a picture of Buster Mathis Jr., I think. And you can see how active Tyrell Biggs was at the start of another round, again pawing at those trunks. And again, he's kind of settled in to kind of hold and brawl on the inside with Buster here.
Well, Tyrell's gotten Buster's respect here in this fight, but it just pure volume of numbers. I haven't counted them myself, but I've got Buster ahead comfortably by 3 or 4 rounds at this stage.
By the way, the last round on our card win is a 10-10 even round, so neither fighter, despite that flurry of punches at the end, was able to take the advantage of the other. Oh, what a great finish that was, though.
And here they are again, exchanging punches in the middle of the ring, both fighters. But this is Buster's office. Tyrell, although he's doing a good job of it, this isn't really where he wants to be.
One thing, Bob, we've also been able to, excuse me, I thought we ruled the last one 10-10. I'm sorry, it went 10-9 in favor of Biggs on your card. I'm sorry. Last one going to Biggs. One of the things that we had talked about both of these fighters wanting to do early on is to avoid any head clashes, headbutts, and we've been very fortunate not to have that because they have indeed had some clashes in there.
Well, yeah, they've had plenty of clashes, but there hasn't been any cuts or abrasions caused by it. And once again here, good work by both men on the inside. I mean, Tyrell has decided he's going to beat Buster at his own game, and that's what he's trying to do in there.
By the way, Buster has never been cut in a professional fight. I made mention that Biggs received a cut that required 32 stitches early on in his career. As they fight, here they go again at the end of round 11. My only suggestion to you is you make sure you get to the refrigerator real quick for your Corona Extra and get back here for the last 3 minutes. This is going to be one whale of a finish of this fight. Now let's see if what quarters the instruction is that they have to knock out to win. Let's see.
And also Mr. Kelsey Evans. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
They took my towel. You got a towel you can wipe the floor down? Okay.
Look for that opening for the first 10 seconds.
Get my hands up.
Me.
That's right.
Me. Put on my shoulder. Yeah.
I don't want you to try to go for it.
This is Jerry Page working with Biggs.
This is the last round. Come on.
You got to close the show, too.
Come on.
I think we're going to be all right.
Okay?
You got to close the show,
Corner,
too.
get out of that corner.
You got to
Go, let's go.
This is round 12 of USBA Heavyweight Championship. As Buster Mathis Jr. and Tyrell Biggs have waged a war today. And the crowd is going to be up for this last 3.
A very atypical heavyweight action in here, Sam. And these guys have given it all. Buster's doing that work underneath. Tyrell's corner told him he's got to close the show. They know it. He's behind here in this fight. But, Buster's not the kind of guy that can run and hold for a round. He can only do what he does. And can leave him susceptible to getting hit with a big punch.
You know, Bob, as good as our audio people have been today, this is about the first round we've really heard Buster Mathis really, as he normally does on every punch, kind of making that sound with every punch. So he is really setting down on him here in this 12th round. Biggs just, holding there, and Buster Mathis Jr. just working on the ends, working the corners there like a pitcher. Well, Tyrell Biggs, if he needs to finish it here, he's got to get that room, and he's trying. He's trying to push him out, but he's not throwing any punches out there before finally Mathis is closing the distance in a hurry. And Biggs is frustrated. Sure, he's had the head of Buster Mathis Jr. under his chin the whole fight, and Buster's been working in there. Well, I tell you what, that supporter and that pair of trunks are absolutely going to be thrown in the garbage pan by Biggs. He said, I don't want any more of these things. They have absolutely been a nuisance to me today. And look at Buster Mathis still working. Incredible show by the young man from Grand Rapids. He's down there in the pocket. Well, if Hart will ever win you a World Heavyweight Championship fight, Buster Mathis has got enough for everybody. It's just a matter of how much experience, how much durability, and if he can improve his punch. It's just not there for a heavyweight contender, I don't think. He may be close, but no cigar. And on the Tyrell Biggs side, he's not a finished fighter or a shot. I think this was a very tough style for him to deal with in this fight. Anybody that stands on the outside with him, when he fought Riddick Bowe, he really looked good for quite a few rounds before Bowe started getting to him, boxing on the outside. But this style here, Buster Mathis smothering him like that, was just too much for him here today. Well, let's hand this to the fans in Las Vegas and let them take us home in the last 10 seconds of the USBA heavyweight fight. Get back in the box. And it's over in Vegas. Oh, what a fight. What a fight on the heavyweight explosion. Cedric Kushner, take a bow, my friend. What a day. Unofficially, Mathis on our cards, +3. How do the judges see it? I will let them make their decision here. Bob Spagnola making his way into the ring for a very brief comment.
Ladies and gentlemen,
from our winner today,
Tyrell Biggs and Buster Mathis.
Jimmy Payton, imploring the crowd to give a round of applause for both of these guys, and boy, that applause is pale in comparison to their effort today. Mathis came in, going on the inside, trying to do what he had to do. That was stay on his chest. Here's a good look at Cedric Kushner. On the other side, Tyrell Biggs also had an opportunity to box from the outside and use that jab. Didn't do enough of that today. Tyrell Biggs again being towed down there as they wait for the decision. Biggs at 33. Is this one of his last hurrahs trying for the USBA title? Again, losing in his only championship title fight opportunity against Mike Tyson. We've got a decision. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecard. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Cindy Barton scores the fight 117-110. Bill Graham scores the fight 115-112. And Judge Davey Perrell scores the fight 117-111. For the winner and heavyweight champion, USBA, Buster Mathis Jr.
So we had it by 3 points. Buster Mathis out wins it on a unanimous decision, and it's a new USBA heavyweight champion. All of our Cedric Kushner crowd here from Las Vegas, Nevada. Congratulations to Buster Mathis Jr. and for Bob Spagnola. Until we see you next time, going to be hard to duplicate this one tonight. But for everybody, Sam Smith, thanks and good night from Las Vegas. Well, the crowd loved it here at the Aladdin in Las Vegas. Let's see what the new champion feels like. Buster Mathis is up in the ring with our Bob Spagnola. Bob?
I'm here with the new USBA heavyweight champion, Buster Mathis Jr. How you feel, Bus?
I feel great. Real great.
I mean, it was interesting. Big would start every round with a good jab and trying to fight on the outside, but you just willed your way in there and settled into what you do best on the inside.
Exactly. You know, I study his tapes, you know, and I've been following Tyrell Biggs since I was 15 years old. You know, I think it was an honor for me fighting an Olympic gold medalist. You know, Tyrell Biggs. You know, you've been there, you fought everyone. You know, and it's like me, Buster Mathis, going to another level, and I just feel great, real great.
Yep. I mean, it was excellent work for you. You willed your way on the inside, and the ebb and flow of the fight. You want to say anything to anybody at home?
Yeah, this fight was dedicated to my mother, Joe Mathis. How you doing, Mom? Dad, I know we got a lot more work to do. I want to go back to the gym. You know, I got to defend this a couple times, you know. Going all the way for it, going all the way, Dad, you know, and just say hello back home to everyone, and I'll be home tomorrow.
All right, congratulations, Bruce and Brian, congratulations. I'm going to bring Cedric Kushner in here, the promoter. Excellent heavyweight matchup, Cedric.
Yeah, absolutely terrific. That's truly what Heavyweight Explosion is all about. Some great fights on the card, with Buster finishing up, becoming the United States Boxing Association heavyweight champion, beating a great fighter in Tyrell Biggs. This is the kind of action we've got on the network, and I'm very, very happy to say that. Come February 19th, we've got a world title fight featuring, of course, Kennedy McKinney, also a gold medal winner. Welcome Nikita on the undercard, Peter Smith on the undercard, an excellent show. Then, of course, the next month, we've got Dingon Tabella again, fighting on the same show, together with Corey Sanders, also trying to regain that title, the WBA title, against Gushi Nazarov. And then, who knows, if Kennedy McKinney wins February 19th, then he fights April 16th against Welcome Nikita. So we've
the rematch everybody's been waiting for.
We've really got some action in store. That's great, and today was just sensational. Buster was terrific.
Congratulations to everybody involved. Back to you, Sam.
Thank you, Bob Spagnola, and a great look at the new USBA heavyweight champion, Buster Mathis Jr. He may be only 23 years of age, but he's come a long way, and the future lays in front of him as a potential heavyweight championship of the world. For Bob Spagnola and all our crew at the Cedric Kushner Sports Network, thanks for joining us on the Heavyweight Explosion. Sam Smith, so long, everybody, from Las Vegas.
Right.